Hey, so I am gonna do a quick video real quick on what the function of different types of makeup brushes are. I did have a request to do this, so this to me, like even when I first started doing makeup, this was kind of confusing. I had never really dug into using brushes a whole lot. I had like maybe 4 makeup brushes. I can actually show them to you really quick, actually. Okay, I take that back. I did have more than 4, but I didn't have very many. So this was all my makeup brushes when I first started. So I had like 7. But it can get confusing because there are so many different kinds. Even now, I mean, I've kind of been, I'd say for about 2, maybe 3 years now, I've been into makeup pretty heavy. So, I really, and even now, I still don't know what everything does. I know, like, the basics, and everything. But I wanted to share really quickly just what I know. And some of these, when I show them, I mean, y'all might use them for something totally different or may have heard that they're used for something totally different. But what this is I'm going to be showing y'all like different brush types and shapes and stuff and telling you what I tend to use them for. And I'm also going to dive into sponges and stuff too. But, yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you can see I have my brushes and a few sponges laid out here. Please excuse this towel. This is what I wipe my brushes off on when I'm doing my makeup and everything. But let's start with sponges first, because normally when you do your makeup, you normally will start with the base. So I have here the Jeffree Star Morphe collab sponges. As you can tell, I did used to use this for doing my foundation. Now I only use this for applying primer. So what I'll do is I'll take the flat side of this and I will dip into like this e.l.f. putty primer. I'll take the sponge and go right in, dip it in, and then just go in and stamp on my face. And I will also use this for when I'm applying, if I don't use my fingers, if I want to use a sponge, I'll use this when I'm applying a more liquid primer as well. I have the e.l.f. mineral infused one that I really like. This is actually the first primer I ever used, and I still really enjoy this primer. And then I will a lot of times use this Makeup Forever hydrating primer. This is a really good one. And as far as another hydrating primer that I like this Tarte Base Tape. Some people might not like this because it does have a coconut smell, and it's a lot stickier than most primers, but you kind of want your primer to be sticky because you want it to help adhere your base makeup. So as far as foundation, I use this sponge because I wanted a more rounded edge. This one was okay, but I don't feel like it worked as good as this basic shaped one. This is the shape of like beauty blenders and stuff. I don't have an actual beauty blender. This was sent to me by an indie brand called Bougie Babe Cosmetics. They make a lot of glitters and stuff, but they did send me the sponge when I ordered some glitters for them. Now for concealer, I like to use the sharper end of a sponge. This is another Jeffree Star Morphe collab sponge. This is one of the mini ones. But I like this one because not only does it have the sharper edge, but it's also smaller, so I can get really close right up underneath my eyes and everything to blend that concealer in really well. And then I'll use just a cheap sponge. Like this one is so like dense, I guess. It's not very squishy at all. But I will use this if I'm using an eye primer. Like if I use the Urban Decay Primer Potion, I'll use this to blend that in. Okay, and also with foundation, after I go in with the sponge, I'll go in with this e.l.f. massage and blending brush. I absolutely love this thing. You can see it's got like bumps in it. This is really good for getting into like crevices in your face, like right on the sides of your nose and everything, where sponges can't really get to. I saw Jeffrey do a video where he was doing a full face of e.l.f. and he was trying their brushes too, and this was one of the ones he tried, and he really loved this brush. And it's really not that expensive. e.l.f. is such an affordable brand, and the majority of their products are actually really good. I love their brushes. I love the chrome and the clear handled brushes the best. The silver handled brushes and the black handled brushes are also really good. The white ones though are they are the cheapest ones that they have, and like it always says, you get what you pay for. The black ones do tend to break easily, so I tend to stay away from the white handled ones. But yeah, this is a really good brush. Also for foundation, I use this brush sometimes. This is a Moda brush. This is actually a complexion brush, but I will use this for foundation sometimes, but here lately I've been using it to apply and blend in liquid highlighters. So that's a really good one. Alright, now for powder. I tend to use a kabuki brush like this one from e.l.f. It's really fluffy. I like it. The face powder that I use the most is the Coty Airspun. Some people don't like this because of the fragrance and stuff, and if you're not careful with it, you can get a lot of flashback when you're taking photos, hence James Charles's famous meme, Flashback Mary. That's the powder he used for that. But yeah, I like to use a big fluffy brush like this. This is also another powder brush that I will use. I don't really use this one that often. I got this in a set. But yeah, now this powder brush from Moda, I do use this one quite a bit. What I will do, I use this to set my under eyes. So I will really pack on powder with this brush, and then I'll go in for the rest of my face with this one. Let's see, what would be next? So I guess after, doing that, I do bronzer, and contouring. So I don't like to use a lot of cream contour. So what I will do, if I want to do like a really sharp, precise contour on my cheeks, I will use a fluffy brush like this, but it's angled. Like you can see, it's slanted, and it's not like super wide either. It just like will hug the cheek, so that you can get a nice precise contour. Now if I'm not doing very precise and I'm just kind of using a bronzer for it, I will use this brush all the time. This is Eco Tools. This is their blush brush, but I use this one a lot to apply my bronzer because it's not, you won't get like it spreads it out. It makes blending a lot easier when you're dealing with bronzer. Oh, backtracking real quick to powder. This is another powder brush that I have. This is from e.l.f. This is one of the silver handled ones. This also came in a set. I am not that big a fan of this. It's not, because of the flat edge, it's not as fluffy as I was like. It kind of feels more like you have to like stamp. So I'm not a fan of a brush shape like this, but I have it anyway because, like I said, it came as set, so there was really no way around it. Alright, and then, like if I'm doing nose contour, a lot of times I will just use a eyeshadow brush. So, like this Vasanti brush, I got this in an Ipsy bag. Technically, this is for eyeshadow, like doing your crease. I will occasionally use this brush for doing eyeshadow, but a lot of times I'll use it to contour my nose. Okay, then as far as blush, this is my favorite blush brush ever. I've tried several different ones, and this is still my favorite one. This was like $3 at Big Lots. This truly is my favorite brush. And this is another blush brush. I will occasionally use this, but it's not a fluffy round brush. Yes, this part is round, but if you look at it from a side view, it's more flat, like comparing these two. Like, there's that one, see how it's completely round, whereas this one flattens out. I'm not a fan of it. I will use it, but it's not my favorite. I prefer using a fluffy round brush for when I'm doing blush. This is an angled foundation brush. Not really sure why you would need your foundation brush to be angled. I have never used this for foundation. I don't actually really use this brush that much at all. I will occasionally use this one, kind of like that little eyeshadow brush for nose contour, but that's about it. Alright, for highlighting, most people will tell you they use a fan brush. I do not like a fan brush. I don't think it picks up enough product. It's pointless in my book. I mean, if you like it, cool, keep using it. I'm not telling you to quit using your fan brush because I think it's pointless, but that's just my view on it. For highlighting, I like to use this e.l.f. concealer brush. It's more, as you can see, it's got a lot of highlighter still in it. But yeah, it really packs a punch, especially if you're using really blinding highlighters, like anything from the Jeffree Star line, some of the Kat Von D, like Metal Crush, or excuse me, KVD Beauty. She's not affiliated with it anymore. Yeah, that really helps bring that out more. Alright, now for brows, I will use this double-sided e.l.f. brush for sculpting my brows, because a lot of times I use Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade. So I will use the angled side to sculpt them, and then I will go in with the spoolie side to blend in and make sure that the color and everything is even. I do have another just separate spoolie. I don't really use this much unless I'm doing like a very dramatic, like theatrical look. Normally that would be only for Instagram or Twitter, but I'll use that if I'm doing like a different color brow other than my natural. I know if you scroll down on my Instagram page, you'll see like a couple of pictures where I did like hot pink, I've done red, I did like an icy blue kind of, but I don't really do that often, so that spoolie is only used for that. Now this, I use the brush side of this a lot. I do it, basically it serves the same purpose as a spoolie. I don't really use the comb side that often. I will occasionally use it before I start doing my brows if they're just kind of out of control and don't want to do what I need them to. But other than that, I don't really use that one that often. Okay, moving on. The rest of these are pretty much all for eyeshadow. So, these are the two that I probably use the most. These are more of my Moda collection ones. I really liked these because they were like a cute unicorn type thing. This is your, they call it a domed eyeshadow brush. This is what I use on my lid. So this is what you're going to use to pack on that lid color. And then this one, you can see it's a little longer. It kind of comes to a point. It's still domed, but it's very like fluffy. This is a crease brush. So this is what you're going to do to really deepen up that crease and everything. I also have this one. This one's from Farrah. Farrah brushes are a lot cheaper than most makeup brushes. A lot of times they come in Ipsy bags, which all of my Farrah brushes I got out of Ipsy bags. As you can see, the paint with the logo is coming off of this one. It had like a holographic paint design right here, but it's a double-sided one. A lot of people don't like double-sided brushes. I actually like them, especially if you're going to travel. I don't want to carry a bunch of different brushes. If I have one that already has the domed side for my lid and then the fluffy side for my crease, what more could you ask for? I actually have another double-sided one right here. This is actually the first makeup brush I ever got in an Ipsy bag from Luxie. This one. Now this crease brush is so fluffy and soft. This type of crease brush I will get into in a minute, because I have a fairer one that I really like using for this purpose. And then this lid brush is a lot flatter. This is more for packing color. So if you want the color to be really intense on your lid, you want to use a flatter eyeshadow brush. So this is that Farrah brush that I was talking about. This one, I mean, it's very light, but this Farrah brush I actually really, really love using. Now this, you'll notice, it is a crease brush, but it's a lot fluffier. This one, versus using something like these two, this is for getting that really deep pigment in the crease. This is more for buffing and blending out the outer edges of the crease, blending it in with the lid shade, blending it in, like fanning it up towards the brow, that kind of thing. So the fluffier the crease brushes, the more it diffuses the color. So here's a few more examples of brushes like that. Here's another Eco Tools one. Eco Tools is a really good brand too. I have an e.l.f. one. This is a Luxie brush. And then this one is from Aisling Organics. I don't actually think I've used this brush. This was another one that I must have gotten in an Ipsy bag that I forgot about, but it's got a very fluffy crease side, and then it has like a packing brush on the other end too. So that's nice. I might try that one out some more. Alright, so as far as other packing brushes, I have this one. I use this a lot for my loose pigments. So, which I do have a couple of loose pigments. Not many, but I do have some. I don't have any over here with me right now, but I'll use those, especially if it's a glittery one, because it is a packing brush, but it's a little bit fluffy. but it'll pick up those loose pigments really nice, and it'll set them exactly where you want them. These two, these are just standard eyeshadow brushes for doing your lid. This one's e.l.f., this one's Eco Tools. I have quite a few packer brushes here. Let me see. Okay, so these are all packer brushes. They're all different sizes and stuff. But, one is from Eco Tools, I think. No, it's not. It's from, I don't know. It doesn't have a brand name, but these are, I'm going to assume they're just off-brand cheap brushes that I picked up. Let's see. Then for doing under the eye. For doing under the eye, it kind of just depends on what I'm wanting to do. A lot of times I'll use this precision brush from e.l.f. I have a couple of those. These are more off-brand ones. But sometimes I want to use a more angled, there's another precision brush. You want to use a more angled brush head. Angled brushes are really good if you're doing like a powder liner, even a liquid liner if it's not already in a pen or something. But they're also good for getting right under the eye. You can also do the inner corner really good with those. And then I have just two more brushes here. So this is another one from Luxie. This was a Wonder Woman collab that they did like 2 years ago. But this is a blending brush, but it's kind of tapered. I don't really use this one a whole lot. It is a nice brush though. It's nice and soft. It's a good quality. I don't really use this one a whole lot though. This one though, this is a big packing brush. I will use this with my concealer to do a cut crease. So if you're going to do a cut crease, you want to use a big flat packer brush to make sure that you get a really precise line. So let me lay everything out again. So yeah, these are all my brushes. As you can see, there's a lot of them. And like I said at the beginning of this, this was not to like dissuade or persuade you to use a certain kind of brush or to get you to stop using other kinds of brushes. This was just to let you know what different brushes are for, what I use them for. So I hope this was informative. Let me know down in the comments what y'all thought about it. And yeah, I think that sums a bit up. So down in the description box I will put some more information down there. I will also have all of my user tags for Instagram and Twitter. I will have affiliate codes that y'all can use for different indie brands to get discounts on products. I have one for Wiki Lashes, which is out of the UK, and then I have one for Gal Glam. And y'all should definitely go check both of those brands out. They're excellent brands. They really, really are, and they really care about their customers, and they're really like personable. So go check those out, and yeah, down in the comments, let me know what y'all thought. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe. And I think that sums this up. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.